is everyone this week? Are you all excited for Monday? Getting back into routines with school? I hope you've had an amazing last week and I hope you've had a great weekend so far with your family. I bet the mums and dads are looking forward to tomorrow as well. I'm sure you're just so excited to see all of your school friends again and see your teachers. Absolutely. I know I would be. I'm getting back to work this week and my children are going back to school this week. So everyone's very excited in this house. So let's crack on with this week's lesson. Okay, so who can remember the days of creation? Can you remember how many days it took God to create the world and the way that it is? Let's have a recap. So, what happened on day one? Let's have a look. So, on day one, God made the light and he called it day. The darkness he called night. On day two, God made the sky, which separated the water on the earth from the water above it. So we had the heavens and then we had the sky. On day three, God gathered the waters into seas and called the dry ground land. Then God blessed the land and it produced vegetation. On day four, God made two great lights, the sun to govern the day and the moon to govern the night, and he also made the stars. On day five, God filled the seas with living creatures and the skies with birds. On day six, God blessed the land and it produced living creatures of all kinds, tame, wild, and crawling. Then God created man and woman in his own image. On day seven, God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and he rested from all his work of creating. He was a very busy God those first 7 days, wasn't he? So, this week we're going to be looking at keeping God's day special. So, who can remember how many wise rules or commandments God gave Moses? How many is there in total? How many digits have you got on your hands? Yep, that's the one. 10 in total. Today, we find out commandment number 4. So this is all about keeping the Sabbath day special. God's rules were given to help people. God knew that people needed a special day, different from any other days, to rest from their usual work and think about Him. So we should keep a special day each week because it is good to have a rest and a change. It's good to have a day that is different to the other days, and it helps to remind us to think about God, doesn't it? Because it's a special day, and what you do on a Sunday is very different to what you do Monday to Friday and different to what you do on Saturday. So let's talk about loving God from your heart. So here we are looking at the events of Matthew 12, verses 1 to 8. So Jesus' disciples were walking through a field of grain or a cornfield on the Sabbath day. They were hungry and began to pick some heads of grain and nibble them. But there were people watching them. They were Pharisees who kept the rules about the Sabbath day very strictly. They were proud of themselves for keeping the rules and thought they were better than everyone else, but they did not have love in their hearts for God. Can you see those two angry men on the right-hand side? Yeah, they look very angry compared to the other four men, don't they? Those are the Pharisees. The Pharisees were quick to criticize. Look, they said to Jesus, your disciples are doing something that is against the Sabbath law. So even because they were picking the heads of grain, that was counted as work because people would work the fields during the week normally and on Saturdays. So the Pharisees were trying to say that because the disciples were picking the heads, that they were actually working. Jesus had an answer for them. Some things, like eating, are necessary every day, even on a Sabbath. So God knows people's hearts, and He knows whether people are really trying to please Him or whether they are just pretending or trying to look good to other people. Later that Sabbath day, Jesus went to a synagogue. So a synagogue is very similar to a church setting, and it's where people went to pray and worship God. There was a man there with a paralyzed hand that would not work properly. Who should be in the synagogue right then but the Pharisees? They were trying to catch Jesus out again. They asked him, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? Jesus saw the Pharisees had hard hearts, and this made him sad. They were more interested in trying to catch him out than showing God's love to someone who needed help. So the Pharisees were being very strict about nobody doing any work whatsoever on the Sabbath day. And whilst it's definitely important that we have a separate day that we can praise and worship God, there are some deeds that are actually good to do, even on the Sabbath day. Let's find out what happens. Jesus said to the man, stretch out your hand. So he stretched it out, and it was made completely better, just like the other hand. This made the Pharisees hopping mad. They went out and plotted how they might kill Jesus. So it is good to do right things on a Sunday and every day, which help other people or animals. It is good to go to Sunday school or church if we can, isn't it? Absolutely. So even though we shouldn't be working, we shouldn't be going out to a normal job, we should try and keep our Sabbath day very special and try and make sure that we have that time dedicated to God. Even if you can't get to a church, even if you just manage to spend 15 minutes by yourself or with other members of your family, and you get to praise and worship God one day a week, then God will know and see what's in your heart. You don't need to worry about doing things as such. What you need to be concentrating on is just having that dedicated time with God. It's all about doing good things that would make that what Jesus would do and would make God happy. Do you think God would want you to help somebody on a Sunday? Hmm, pretty sure he would. It would make him very happy. If he saw that you had seen one of your friends was crying, I'm sure he would love for you to go and comfort that friend. So, let's have a quick recap. So, let's look at picture number 1. Who can we see there? Can you remember the names of the 2 types of people? That's right. So on the left-hand side, we have got 4 disciples, and on the right-hand side, we have 2 Pharisees. So when we look at that first text box, which is in the upper left-hand corner, we can see it reads, the disciples were walking through a... What are they walking through? What can you see there? Think about the colours. Yes, it is a cornfield. So when we go to the top right-hand text box, the something were angry. Well, the disciples weren't angry. If anything, they were hungry. What was the name of those 2 men that looked angry on the right-hand side? Can you remember? Begins with a Pharisees. Should we check? The Pharisees were angry. Let's look at our next picture. Oh, look, we can see that man again. And that arm on the left doesn't look as healthy as the one on the right of him. So let's look at that text box beside that picture. Jesus, something the man. What did Jesus do? Can you remember? Do you think that's the one? Let's have a look. Jesus healed the man. Well done. Let's look at the next picture. And the text box beside it. That says, keep God's day. What could that word be there? We're keeping it separate from all the other days. So it's a special day. Well done, children. Excellent work there. Brilliant recap of the days of creation. You are doing so well with this learning. I'm really super duper proud of you all. Absolutely. So as usual, I will be uploading stuff throughout the week for you. You'll have your worksheets and we'll have some fun stuff as we go out throughout the week. I hope you're enjoying the endurance challenges and the games, the outside games that I'm posting on a weekly basis as well. And my light's just broken. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Bye.